Let's hop right to it. Congressman, thank you for being with us on the Tom Laipply podcast. We're sitting right in the middle of your district, 17th of Florida. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you being the fire breather that you are on Capitol Hill. We'll just hop right on it since you have such limited time. The bill that you're trying to pass is going to prevent all federal funding for transition surgeries for illegal migrants. We know that's something that Kamala Harris has advocated for in the past. Just tell us briefly about that if you can.
Yeah, not only has she advocated for it, but she's in a position to allow the federal government and mandate the federal government through DHS and all of the different Border Patrol programs to allow for your tax dollars to go to transgender surgeries for illegal immigrants. She's also talked about doing it for prisoners. So we decided to file a bill that would prevent her from using taxpayer dollars to give illegal immigrants and prisoners the ability to get gender transition surgeries at taxpayers' expense. So we filed that this last week, and we'll move forward as we go through the appropriations process, and hopefully that'll be something that the majority will pick up and pass out.
Yeah, hopefully. It's a sad state of affairs that you actually have to pass bills like that now that prevent taxpayer money from going to illegal immigrants for one thing, and then illegal immigrants transition surgeries. That's a shame that you actually have to pass a bill like that, but we're certainly glad that people like you are on Capitol Hill doing things like that, even though it's reached these absurd levels that it's gotten. Let me hop right to the next subject because I just want to get all your takes as quick as I can on your efforts as far as getting to the bottom of the now sadly 2 Trump assassination attempts. If you could tell us about some of your efforts and what you're looking into, what your thoughts are on the Secret Service and, the various elements of these 2 assassination attempts. What's going on in your mind with these things and what actions are you looking to take?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is multiple different occasions, and this is all like fact. Mayorkas even admitted to this, that the Trump's Secret Service team has requested on multiple times more resources before the Butler shooting. So why is it that the Director of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Homeland Security, is refusing the former president when his Secret Service team is saying they need more assets to protect him? I mean, you can't look at that in any other way but an intentionality to create a situation where he's not fully protected. And then we saw what happened at Butler, Pennsylvania. And we still have a lot of unanswered questions. From a military guy, I served in Iraq. I was a former infantry officer. How did a guy get on a roof with a firearm with 4 sniper nests and those sniper teams not see that individual? Now, what we have found out is they saw him like 20 minutes beforehand. So why didn't they take him out? Was an order requested to take this guy out and it was refused? These are all questions that we haven't gotten answers to yet. We still don't have, Congress still doesn't have the names of the individuals, the Secret Service agents that were there that day, so we could actually put them under oath and depose them. So there's a lot of questions that members of Congress have. And then you have this latest shooting. So the Speaker has put in place a task force that is going to look at a lot of these things. I haven't talked to any of the members on the task force. I don't think they've had like a public hearing yet, but I know that some of the Secret Service directors recently spoken to them. But there has to be accountability for all of this that has occurred. And the bottom line is Biden's administration, Biden's Secret Service has refused multiple times Trump team's requests for more assets. And that leads you to one conclusion. Well, why is it they knew that the threat level was high, which is why they asked for more resources, and why didn't you give it to them? Why aren't you treating him like a president, not a former president? Because obviously he's running for president, and the threat level is much different. Now you've had a second situation that clearly was preventable. This guy apparently was on their radar for like 5 years. So it's a big frustration for members of Congress like myself, and a lot of unanswered questions right now.
Yeah, even Senator Blumenthal came out yesterday and basically accused the DHS of stonewalling and even said that he would now approve a subpoena. So, it gets to the place, Congressman, I know that you can't really speak as freely as someone like me because you'll be held to task, but it's getting to the place now where you have DHS Mayorkas, which it seems to me like Alejandro Mayorkas is pretty much the center of every problem that's going on in America right now. Of course, he's under the jurisdiction of Biden, but Mayorkas has sent a copied memo to the Secret Service, basically telling them to not cooperate with congressional oversight when it comes to these shootings. And it just gets to the place now, and you can comment as much as you want, but we again appreciate how much of a fire breather you are up there and how much of a truth teller that you are, because that's very rare in Congress these days, even amongst Republicans. So we really appreciate you. But it's just gotten to the place now where I think everyone's going to have to start looking at malfeasance instead of misfeasance, because this galactic level of incompetence cannot be not on purpose. It gets to this place where you have a 200-foot perimeter, a 200-yard perimeter around the president, and somehow there's this giant gaping 60-foot, almost Pac-Man style mouth open right where the most vulnerable building is, and nobody can even, the building's not secured. It's somehow inside of this perimeter, and it was the most dangerous building on the property. So I just think that it's getting to the place, like you said, these people need to be put under oath. I was a cop right here in Sarasota County for 25 years, 92 to 2017. Get these people on polygraphs, because the malfeasance really can't be explained. Just one final thought as far as that is concerned with you, and I want to move to the border real quick.
Yeah, I mean, if this task force has not subpoenaed those individuals to come and testify and all of those records, they absolutely need to do that yesterday and get down to the bottom of that. Because you're right, Mayorkas is not going to be cooperative with Congress in getting answers, so we're going to have to go the subpoena route and start getting accountability.
Yeah, and why aren't people like you, Eli Crane? Why are you guys not on that task force? I have a lot of complaints about Mike Johnson. I'm not going to air that with you right now. We don't have time. But people like you with past military experience, Eli Crane with sniper experience, why aren't they on the task force investigating this? It's a big complaint of mine. The experts are not on there, and more middle of the road, I'm not going to say anti-Trumpers, but middle of the road Republicans are on the task force instead of the experts. One final thought on that.
Well, yeah, that's a great question. I don't have an answer for you on that. I requested to be on the task force, and he didn't put me on. So, right. You'd have to ask Speaker Johnson on that one.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, just one final thing, Congressman. We won't keep you after this. It'll be the last one, because I know you got to go get to the vote. On the border, just real quick on it. We obviously were having a huge issue, and now we're having a crime rate. Democrats try to say there's not a illegal migrant crime wave that's going on. We got Springfield going on, and all of that. So, just your thoughts on the border. I know it's a huge thing to open up. Basically, here's the numbers: 15,000 a day, roughly, are tracked coming into the country under the Biden administration. Under Donald Trump, it was 8,000 a month. So 8,000 a month to 15,000 a day now. Just your thoughts on the border, what we're going to do with the border, whether it's hopefully when Trump comes in or sadly if Kamala gets elected. Just your thoughts on the border.
Yeah, the only way to ultimately solve the problem is to elect Donald Trump as president in less than 2 months. That's the only way to truly solve it, because Congress, the House, the Republican House has passed H.R. 2. The Democratic Senate's not even going to pay attention to it. We've had 12 million illegals come across our border just in the time that they've been president. Over 384 known terrorists, over 50,000 Chinese Communist Party individuals, 30,000 Russians. I mean, they're in our country right now. And even Director Wray, under oath before a Senate committee, said that we're at one of the highest levels of threat because of the southern border and all these illegals and criminals and terrorists that have been let into our country. So the only way to fix it, truly, is to elect Donald Trump as president, because he's going to be the only person that's going to be able to change it from the administration side. Even if we flip the Senate and hold the House, if he's not the president, Kamala Harris isn't going to sign a border bill. That's right, so that's the threat of the safety and security of our people is reliant on the election on November 5th.
That's right. I actually forgot about H.R. 2. You guys, the actual real conservative Republicans, you've done your part. You got H.R. 2 passed, and then it's ignored by Chuck Schumer and ignored by the Senate. So we do greatly appreciate your efforts. How much time do we have left, Congressman? Any or not at all? I don't want to.
Yeah, I got to get down to vote.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. We really appreciate you. Come back on anytime. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Sitting right in the middle of your constituency in Florida. Appreciate you doing all that you're doing. We'll let you go and head off to the vote. And God bless you, Congressman Stubbe. Appreciate you.
All right, you too. Thank you for having me.